We are expecting prices to continue to rise. It is going to be concentrated across our combined capitals rather than in regional Australia. And I think it really just highlights the undersupply of housing that we've got across Australia. And that really is a structural undersupply that we've seen that has been built over many years. And we just haven't been able to build enough homes to meet the population growth that we are seeing.
Yeah, can you break down those supply and demand factors? You touched on construction. We know there's not much through the pipeline coming, and obviously we've had very steep population growth. Is that all that's going on?
There are a few things going on. Population growth and the changes in demand for homes. We've seen a rise in the number of single-person households. We're also seeing fewer people per dwelling. Those two things alone mean that we need more homes to house the same amount of Australians. And at the same time, we have seen strong levels of population growth at a time where we've got a very tight rental market also. We can't forget it is a landlord's market nationally, and particularly so in our capital cities. And then in terms of the supply side, we've obviously got a weak new supply coming onto the market. We've seen obviously the high cash rate has slowed down the construction sector. Overall building approvals have been weak, and that means that pain in terms of new supply being slow is going to be there for some time. And it really does showcase that we know government is taking supply as a focus, but we really need to ensure that governments at all levels are working together to actually get that job done and get that supply to market, and particularly affordable supply.
Yeah, and how do you think the government is going? I mean, the federal government obviously targeting 1.2 million homes over the next 5 years. Are they on track?
It is a lofty target, and I think when you look at those building approvals, it isn't on track as it stands. I think that we've certainly seen with the New South Wales budget, it is focused on affordable housing supply, but there's many things that need to be done. We really need to increase density. We live in some of the least dense cities in the world, so we do need to see, particularly around those infrastructure hubs, that urban infill is cheaper to do than it is to urban sprawl. We need to make sure that we're building the right homes in the right location, and perhaps even consider things like incentivising developers to build affordable homes, and maybe even discussing stamp duty reform.
And when we look at your research, obviously houses are hitting those beyond $1 million price levels. How are houses performing versus units?
We are expecting house prices to outperform units, and that has been a trend for some time. I think it really showcases the preference of Australians towards houses. We are expecting prices to rise, but what I would say, it is important to note that while prices are rising, they are at a slower pace than what we recorded over the calendar year of 2023 and what we've seen over this financial year to date.
And just finally, we touched on Sydney leading the charge with house prices there set to crack $1.7 million as a median. Why is Melbourne and Canberra, why are they lagging?
We've really seen those two cities have failed to move into a recovery phase, and that really is population dynamics have been weaker in those two cities compared to others, particularly interstate migration. They're both in the negative, which means it is a bit of an exodus away from Melbourne and from Canberra into other states and territories. I think particularly so for Melbourne, they have seen changes around land taxes, and that really has weighed in on sentiment. And I think if there's one thing I've learnt about the property market, if we change sentiment, it can change people's decisions to buy and sell.
Nicola Powell, great to get your insights. Thank you.
Thank you.